Uganda's Electoral Commission has declared President Yoweri Museveni of the National Resistance Movement the winner of the 2026 presidential election, securing 71.65% of the vote with over 7.94 million votes. Electoral Commission chairperson Justice Simon Byabakama delivered the final results at the National Tally Center.
Now, therefore, candidate Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, having obtained the highest number of votes in the election and the votes cast in his favor being more than 50% of the valid votes cast at the election, the Commission hereby declares the elected president declares candidate Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
Now, Dr. Victor Okhai, an African affairs analyst, joins us live from Lagos for some insight into this story. Thank you, Doctor, for joining us. Now, what does Museveni's 71.65% win reveal about the state of Uganda's democracy?
Okay, good question. You talk about democracy. I'll speak about democracy and I'll talk about what it means generally. The percentage is not for me the issue. It is a route to where we got to where we are now, or where the Ugandans got to where they are now. That's the issue for me. And what is troubling about it is the fact that there was, if you like, some sort of voter suppression. There was the social media that was shut down, and the issue of picking on opposition leaders, even when the votings were going on. Bobi Wine was alleged to, or he claimed he was, his house was surrounded and he was taken away and all that. But the government countered by saying that because he's a person of political interest, obviously he needs security. Now, you can do the right thing the wrong way. If you ask my honest opinion, Yoweri Museveni as a president has done well by people. All this is totally unnecessary. Uganda has one of the most stable, if you like, one of the progressive economies and stable politics. And I'm picking my words very carefully in the East African region. But the issue of by every means necessary and putting down opposition is what I simply find, very troubling for democracy in this part of the world. Obviously, under normal circumstances, until they start changing and then they increase the number of years that they've spent, and it's going for an alleged 7th term, which is it just doesn't make sense at all. That for me is very troubling, and what it portends for democracy is very, very negative, because what this simply means is that this is coup by all means. You may win the election. I'm sure he would have won it, hands down, clearly. I'm sure he would have won that election. But the method by which they're going about climbing on the position and doing all that they're doing is totally unnecessary. It's just robbing the people of their fundamental rights to vote and express themselves.
Now, when it comes to the margin, I'm sorry, we'll just have to look at that as well. This seems to be his biggest victory in 30 years. And one would wonder, how can one explain such a wide margin after a tense campaign? Okay,
so it's hard to say, and I don't bother on speculations, really. And so he may or he may not have had it. There will be observers on ground, obviously, who will look at it. But unfortunately, the concentration of the observers will be on the suppression and on the abuses and all that. But the margin, all he needed was 51%. That's all. From what you heard from the head of the Electoral Commission there, he was declared winner because he had won the mandatory above 50% and with majority. So that's all he needed. He didn't even need the 71%. So with about 51%, from what we just heard, it would still have been declared a winner.
All right, Dr. Victor Okhai, thank you so much for having a conversation with us on the news.